I, 36F, have been dating Mark, 46M, for 3 years now. We met at a charity event in New York where I was volunteering for a children's education program. I moved to the US from Russia 15 years ago for my master's degree in marketing and ended up staying here after landing a job at a prestigious marketing firm. I started as a junior executive and worked my way up to become a senior marketing director through hard work and dedication. Let me give you some background about how we met and our relationship. That day at the charity event, Mark was there supporting his friend's organization. He wasn't dressed like someone from a wealthy family, just casual jeans and a simple shirt. He drove a regular Toyota, and we bonded over our shared interests in classical music, hiking, and traveling. It wasn't until our third date that I accidentally found out his family owned a chain of luxury hotels. I discovered this when we ran into his father at a restaurant, and he casually mentioned their new hotel opening. This didn't change anything for me. I was already falling for Mark's kind nature, intelligence, and sense of humor. Mark and I got serious pretty quickly. Within 6 months, he introduced me to his family. His mother Martha is a socialite who's heavily involved in charity work, and his father James runs their hotel business. They also have a younger daughter, Sarah, who works in the family business. Initially, everything seemed perfect. Martha would invite me to their summer house in the Hamptons, and we'd spend weekends together. James would ask about my work and seemed impressed by my career growth. Sarah and I became close friends. I even helped organize her baby shower last year and spent weeks planning it. I put in genuine effort to be part of their lives. I attended all family events, helped Martha with her charity functions, and even used my marketing expertise to help Sarah with some hotel promotions. I never asked for payment or recognition for any of this. I did it because I thought I was becoming part of the family. Mark and I have been talking about marriage for the past 6 months. We even looked at houses together last month, and he hinted about proposing soon. We discussed having children, and I met with his family's financial advisor to understand how to merge our assets. I was already planning to sign any prenup they wanted. I have my own money and career, and I never wanted theirs. Everything seemed perfect until yesterday when Mark came over to my apartment. He seemed nervous and uncomfortable. He told me about their Christmas plans. The family was spending 2 weeks at their lodge in Aspen, a tradition they've had for years. Then he dropped the bombshell: I wasn't invited. When I asked why, he hesitated before telling me that his parents think I'm just after their money. Their reasons completely shocked me. Apparently, they grew suspicious because I always compliment their houses and ask questions about their business. They think I'm too interested in their lifestyle and properties. They brought up that I'm from Russia and younger than Mark, suggesting I must be looking for a wealthy American husband. Martha told Mark she's seen too many cases of foreign women marrying rich men for green cards and money. They even mentioned that I dress too well for my salary and must be trying to fit into their wealthy lifestyle. The worst part wasn't even their accusations, it was Mark's reaction. Instead of defending me, he said he understands their concerns. He suggested we spend Christmas apart this year to give his family some space to process their feelings. When I got upset and started crying, he said I was overreacting and that it's just one holiday. He kept saying things like, let's not make this bigger than it needs to be, and if you have nothing to hide, you'll understand their concerns. I feel completely betrayed and humiliated. I've spent 3 years building a life with this man. I have my own career that I built from scratch, my own apartment in Manhattan that I bought with my savings, and I've never asked Mark or his family for a single penny. Yet they've reduced me to a stereotype, the Russian woman looking for a rich American man. What hurts most is that Mark, who knows me better than anyone, who knows how hard I've worked for everything I have, didn't stand up for me. I haven't spoken to Mark since yesterday. He's been texting me saying we should talk when things calm down, but I don't know what to say. How do you move forward in a relationship when your partner's family sees you as a gold digger, and your partner doesn't have the backbone to defend you? I keep thinking about all the times I spent with his family. Was Martha judging me when I helped her organize her charity gala? Was James analyzing my intentions when I gave suggestions for their hotel marketing? Was Sarah pretending to be my friend while discussing my possible motives with her family? Were all those warm family moments fake? Did they always see me as an opportunist trying to infiltrate their wealthy world? Right now, I'm seriously considering ending this relationship. If Mark won't stand up for me now, will he ever? Am I supposed to spend the rest of my life trying to prove my love is genuine to people who have already decided I'm a gold digger? And how can I marry into a family that has such a low opinion of me? But 3 years is a long time to just throw away. Should I try to prove them wrong? Or should I just walk away with my dignity intact? I need advice from people who aren't emotionally invested in this situation. Am I overreacting, or is this the red flag I can't ignore? Update 1. I had to come back to update you guys because things have gotten way more complicated than I imagined. First, I want to thank everyone who commented on my last post. Your support and insights really helped me think clearly about this whole mess. After my last post, I decided to confront Mark. I needed to understand why he wouldn't defend me and hear his side of the story. We met at a cafe near my apartment, somewhere public because I didn't want this to turn into an emotional scene at either of our places. What I found out during this conversation made everything so much worse than I had imagined. Mark finally revealed that his parents hired a private investigator to look into my background 6 months ago. They did this behind his back and only told him about it last month, right before they started planning their Christmas trip. The timing explains why they suddenly don't want me around for the holidays. The PI dug deep into my past in Russia and my life here in America. They found out about my father's construction company in Russia that went bankrupt when I was in college. Dad had to start over from scratch, and that's partly why I worked so hard to build my own career. But Mark's family somehow twisted this into evidence that I'm used to living off other people's money and looking for someone to bail me out. The investigation also uncovered that I briefly dated Robert, another wealthy man, before Mark. It was a 3-month relationship that ended because we wanted different things in life. To Mark's family, this wasn't just a normal dating experience, it was proof that I specifically target rich men. What really got me angry was how they invaded my financial privacy. The PI got hold of my credit history and found out about my credit card debt from my early days in America. When I first started my career, I had to put everything on credit cards: rent, food, work clothes. I also send money to my parents in Russia every few months to help with my mother's medical bills. His parents saw all of this as proof that I'm financially irresponsible and looking for a wealthy husband to solve my problems. When I asked Mark why he kept quiet about this investigation for a whole month, his answer shocked me. He said he was trying to protect me. But then he admitted something that broke my heart. When his parents first showed him the PI's report, he started having doubts too. That's why he's been acting distant lately and why he didn't fight harder for me to come to Aspen. He actually started believing their twisted interpretation of my life. I sat there speechless. This man, who I shared my life with for 3 years, who knew all my struggles and achievements, had been secretly doubting me for a month based on a PI's report instead of talking to me directly. He let his parents violate my privacy and didn't say a word. Even worse, he admitted that he and Sarah had been discussing my spending habits, analyzing everything from the brands I wear to the restaurants I suggest for dates. The conversation took an even uglier turn when I brought up the fact that I never asked him or his family for money. His response? "Not yet, but my parents think you're playing the long game." He said this with such casualness, like it was completely normal to assume your girlfriend of 3 years is running some long con on your family. I was done at that point. 3 years of love and trust, destroyed by paranoid assumptions and prejudice. The worst part was realizing that Mark wasn't the man I thought he was. He didn't just fail to defend me, he actually started believing these horrible things about me. After our talk, I went home and looked through all our photos together. Every memory now feels poisoned. Those family dinners at their mansion, vacations on their yacht, celebrations at their country club, they were probably just opportunities for them to scrutinize me. I remembered how Martha always asked about my job and seemed so interested in my career progress. Now I realize she was probably just checking if I was really employed where I claimed to be. The next day, Sarah called me. She tried to justify their actions by telling me about their past experiences with gold diggers. Apparently, their cousin married a woman who tried to take half their family business in the divorce. Sarah said they were just trying to protect their family assets, and that if I really loved Mark, I would understand their concerns and cooperate with their investigation. I hung up on her. I don't need to prove my love to people who hired a PI to investigate me like I'm some kind of criminal. I texted Mark that I needed space to think. He responded with a long message about how much he loves me but needs to be sure about my intentions before going against his family. That message made my decision clear. I'm done. I don't want to be with someone who needs proof of my love while giving me no trust in return. I haven't replied to his message yet, but I plan to end things officially when I feel strong enough to face him again. His family may think I'm after their money, but they just showed me that all their wealth couldn't buy them basic human decency or respect for others. I'd rather be alone than be with someone who lets their family treat me like a criminal just because of where I come from. Update 2. I know many of you have been asking for an update, so here it is. The past month has been a complete roller coaster, and I discovered things that made me realize I dodged a major bullet with Mark and his family. Their true colors came out in ways I never expected. After my last update, I sent Mark a clear message ending our relationship. I was direct and told him I couldn't be with someone who didn't trust me and allowed his family to treat me like a criminal. Instead of accepting my decision, he started showing up at my workplace with expensive flowers and gifts. He would wait outside my office, trying to catch me during lunch breaks. He kept saying he made a huge mistake and wanted to fix things. This sudden change in his behavior seemed strange. Just weeks ago he was doubting my intentions, and now he was desperate to get me back. Last week, I found out the real reason behind his desperate attempts to reconcile. One of my friends, Anna, works at a law firm that handles some business for Mark's family's hotel chain. She told me something that made everything click. Apparently, Mark's family business was going through a major merger with a Russian hotel chain called Volkov Hotels. They needed someone who understood both American and Russian business culture to help with the negotiations and smooth things over with the Russian executives. Mark's father had been asking about my background in their family discussions, not because he was worried about me being a gold digger, but because he wanted to use my connections and knowledge for their business deal. The whole pie investigation was probably more about checking my business background than my personal life. They wanted to know if I had useful connections in Russia. This made me look back at certain conversations in a completely new light. I remembered how James, Mark's father, always asked detailed questions about my father's construction business in Russia and my connections there. He wanted to know which cities we operated in and who our clients were. At the time, I thought he was just being friendly and interested in my background. Now I realize he was mining me for information and contacts. The final confirmation came from Emily, Martha's personal assistant of 5 years, who reached out to me after quitting her job. She told me that the family had actually planned to offer me a position in their company after the wedding. They specifically wanted someone they could trust who understood Russian business culture, and marriage would have ensured my loyalty to the family. Emily overheard many conversations about this plan in their house. When I confronted Mark about this, he tried to spin it as a positive thing. He said his parents had actually grown to respect my business acumen, and this could have been a great opportunity for me to join the family business. He didn't understand why I was upset. In his mind, them wanting to use my background and connections was a compliment. He kept saying things like, "This proves they see your value and we could have built something great together." The irony of the situation is just incredible. They accused me of being a gold digger while they were plotting to use my background and connections for their own gain. They investigated my past looking for proof that I was using Mark, while they were the ones planning to use me all along. The Christmas trip exclusion was probably because they hadn't figured out how to approach me with their business proposal yet. I've blocked Mark's number and all his social media accounts. His sister Sarah tried to reach out again, this time directly with a business proposal about joining their company. I blocked her too. I'm not interested in being anyone's business asset disguised as a family member. Some of his relatives have been spreading rumors in our social circle that I walked away from the relationship because the family wouldn't give me what I wanted. They are telling people I got upset because they made me sign a prenup agreement, which never even happened. I don't care anymore. The truth is, what I wanted was genuine love and respect, and clearly, that was never on the table. Looking back, I feel stupid for not seeing their true intentions sooner. But I guess love really does blind you sometimes. At least now I know exactly what kind of people they are, a family who sees relationships as business transactions and people as assets to be acquired. Update 3. I wasn't planning to update again, but something happened that made me want to share this final chapter with you all. Yesterday, I ran into James and Martha at the annual Children's Hospital Charity Gala in New York. This was the first time I'd seen them since everything fell apart. Through my business contacts, I learned that their Russian hotel merger with Volkov Hotels had completely failed. The negotiations broke down due to cultural misunderstandings and communication issues. They lost millions in preliminary investments and legal fees. At the gala, Martha tried to approach me, probably hoping to smooth things over now that they desperately needed someone who understood both cultures. I saw her walking toward me but turned around and walked in the opposite direction. Later that evening, Mark showed up. He'd apparently heard from mutual friends that I would be there. He looked different, stressed and tired. The failure of the Russian deal had hit their business hard. He found me at the bar and started talking about how much he missed me. Then he smoothly transitioned into talking about their business struggles. He told me their international expansion plans were failing one after another. They tried to hire other Russian consultants, but nothing worked out. He hinted that there might still be a place for me in their company if I was interested. The way he phrased it was almost comical. "Mom and Dad realize now that they misjudged you. They see your true value." He even suggested we could start over, this time with his family's full approval and support. When I didn't respond positively, he mentioned that the salary would be more than generous. I just laughed. 6 months ago, they thought I was a gold digger trying to get their money. They hired a PI to investigate me and excluded me from family events. Now they wanted me to help save their business. Their pride had finally taken a backseat to their desperation. The best part? I recently got promoted to Vice President of International Marketing at my firm. We're actually expanding into the luxury hotel market in Eastern Europe, and I'm leading the project. We're already in talks with some of their competitors, including Volkov Hotels. The same company that refused to work with Mark's family is now eager to partner with us. I told Mark that all their money couldn't buy what they really needed: genuine respect and cultural understanding. I also mentioned that I'm bound by my company's non-compete clause, so I couldn't help them even if I wanted to. His face when I said that was priceless. Mark still sends me occasional texts about how his family has changed and learned their lesson. Each time their business faces another setback, I get a message from him. Last week he even suggested that we could keep our relationship separate from business, as if that was ever the real issue. I don't respond to any of his messages. Some people only realize your value when they need something from you. I'm done being undervalued and second-guessed. My time, knowledge, and love are worth more than being someone's backup plan or business strategy. To anyone going through something similar, trust your gut. Sometimes walking away is the best way to move forward. I lost a boyfriend and his fake family, but I gained something more valuable: self-respect and the confirmation that I made the right choice. Success really is the best revenge.